Hi everyone, here I am coming to you live from Australia House. Why am I here when I was supposed to be home? I was actually supposed to be home in about an hour, arriving to Brisbane for my son to pick me up. Well, isn't it interesting when life sends you on these very fascinating journeys? Sunday afternoon on the trains on the way to the hotel that I was staying at for my night before, when I had to leave or be at the airport at 6 a.m. in the morning at Heathrow. I had 3 bags with me, a lot of luggage to travel around. I had my backpack bag and I had a bum bag, or a fanny pack as Americans like to call it, and British. So I'm pulling my bags, which are quite heavy and cumbersome, and then I got on the last train and all of a sudden I realised that the weight of my backpack had gone. Inside my backpack was my wallet, my passport, valuable stuff. My backpack bag is something that I actually made. I designed it and I had it made over 10 years ago, so it was really special to me. The shock of realising that you're in another country and you've just had your passport leave your personhood is kind of weird. It really, your body goes into shock, you start shaking, and you have to figure out what you actually have to do, and you've really got to keep your head about you when something like this happens. I got off the train and went to the train station. London train stations are actually quite difficult. They're not like Australian ones. It's like a little rabbit warren that you have to follow just to get anywhere, and you walk a really long way. So anyway, I got to the train people and they really looked after me, and they found the train line that I was on. I remember the carriage I was on in case I'd left it there or it had gone from me there, but it hasn't turned up. So I'm at the consulate here where they've granted me an emergency passport that I pick up in 2 days. I had to change my flights at a cost of $4,000, I might add, which was a little bit more than I would have liked. Hi Vin, how you going? But I get to spend the rest of the time in London. I have to come back on Friday afternoon between 3:30 and 4 to the Australian consulate and pick up my passport, which will then be ready for me. Luckily, in my bum bag, I had my glasses, my phone, my debit card. In my bags, I had my laptop and my charger cords. So, there was stuff that I lost in my backpack bag that can never be replaced. But I'm okay, so that's a really good thing. And I'm really of the belief when something like this happens, there's a real reason for life doing it. I'm one of these sort of people, I don't lose stuff. I know where everything is in my house, I'm very organised like that, and I'm also not a panicker, so I tended to just be a bit freaked out by the whole situation, and I sat down on the train station whilst the train people were trying to find my bag from station to station on their walkie-talkies, and the tears just poured out of me, and I just thought, right, what do I do? So I rang, thanks Vin, receiving your love with gratitude. I rang the Australian consulate on a Sunday to ask their advice about whether I could leave the country. You can't leave the country without a passport. So I changed my ticket really quickly. That was hard because the bank sends a code to your Australian phone. I'm not an Australian number, I'm on a British number now, and it's 2 o'clock in the morning in Australia, and I couldn't wake Jack up to give me the code, and then it gave me 20 minutes to get the ticket. So my beautiful cousin Penny has paid for it till I pay her back, which is great. So I got the flights home. I then started thinking, how do you think? Your heart's racing. You're sweaty, your heart's racing. Your body, you go into shock. It's something that would happen to every single person in a foreign country who all of a sudden doesn't have their passport with them, who's supposed to fly out the next day. So it was definitely an interesting experience after such a great time here. But you know what? I've always been of the belief that when these things happen to you, there's a reason. Maybe I wasn't supposed to be on that plane. Maybe Jack wasn't supposed to be travelling on the road at 10 o'clock at night to come and pick me up. Maybe I wasn't supposed to be on the road on Friday when I'm with Sonia and Sunny. And I really believe these things because stuff like this doesn't actually happen very often. I don't get into sulk mode and I don't freak myself out. I just get on with it. And it reminded me of how much resilience I actually have and how much resilience we need to have in life. You can't let things really get to you too much. You can't freak out. You've just got to keep your wits about you and go, right, you know, what was in my purse? What have I lost in my bag? What do I need to do? What are the first steps? So first steps are obviously the consulate, to find out what rights I have in a country with no ID. So I have no ID at all now. Luckily, I actually have a photograph of my passport, my driver's license, and my birth certificate in my phone. That doesn't really count for anything. However, when you're filling out forms, you know the number of your passport. So it's really good to be prepared when you travel. It's really important. And it was really weird. One of my friends said to me, you know, maybe the weight of your past, which was what the bag was attached to, and I had a beautiful phone in there that, no, not a phone, a watch in there that my ex-husband had given me. I hadn't used the backpack or the watch here for ages. I've been really quite minimal and really changed how I live over here, which has been great, you know. So I've really become a different person over here, and maybe that I didn't need those things anymore. But I'm fine, you know. I didn't get mugged. My bag is no longer with my personhood. There's a new driver's license arriving at my house this week because my old one had actually run out, you know. The passport only had till February on it, so I was going to have to get a new one anyway. There was an old British one in there, and that's like 20 years old, so they won't be able to rip that one off either. So I'm hoping that my bag and my things went to a nice home. It's a unisex bag, whoever's got it. I hope you enjoy it. It's really nice. It's leather. I had it made. I designed the whole thing. So I just wanted to tell you guys, sometimes in life, unexpected things happen, and you've got to really settle into yourself and breathe when these things happen, and make allowances and just go with the flow, and don't ever freak out, because freaking out does not serve you at all. So I've decided to stay in the Premier Inn near Heathrow because I'm there, you know, and it's close. And today, now I'm in London again, and I have to be back here on Friday. I'm going to go to the British Museum today, which is, you know, a few blocks up the road. And I'm going to go check out some art and some museum stuff, and just be nice and still and everything. So I've started the process. I've got my ticket. I'm going to get my passport in 2 days. I fly out on Sunday, and I'll be home next Tuesday. So it'll all be good. Everything will be wonderful. So sending love to you all, and thank you to all of you who I know are sending me love right now. Have a beautiful day. Bye.